How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And as always, here at 2A News Now, you get your Second Amendment news straightforward and to the point with no BS added in. There's some good news and some bad news out of the state of Washington. A Washington state judge has overturned their magazine ban, but there is a problem with it. Washington state is one of several states that has gone off the deep end with regard to gun control. While once a pretty pro-gun state, recent years have seen numerous anti-gun laws go into effect, generally via ballot initiative efforts. One of many anti-gun efforts was the ban on so-called high-capacity magazines, or standard capacity magazines for those of us who recognize that these are the magazines that come with the guns in states without stupid laws. But on Monday, a judge declared the restriction unconstitutional. A judge in Cowlitz County, Washington, declared the state's prohibition on high-capacity magazines unconstitutional on Monday, but shortly thereafter, the state Supreme Court intervened with an emergency order, ensuring the legislation remains effective. Amidst the state's appeal, Gary Bashor, a judge at the Cowlitz County Superior Court, found that the 2022 ban enacted on magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds infringes on the constitutional rights safeguarded by both the state of Washington and the United States of America. In his judgment on the constitutionality of the ban, the judge referenced a 2022 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Bruin case. The ruling emphasized that gun control measures must align with the nation's long-standing tradition of firearm regulations. The judge criticized the state for not presenting a historical precedent that could justify the current regulation, indicating that the ban and possibly other modern gun laws lack constitutional footing. The judge argued that the Founding Fathers did not intend to restrict gun rights, anticipating technological advances in firearms without foreseeing specific modern technologies. He contended that there are scarcely any historical laws that states can use to justify current firearm regulations. The judge issued an injunction, but the state Supreme Court issued a stay, meaning the ban is still technically in effect in Washington. However, the judge is right in his assessment, especially considering the Bruin decision, repeating guns existed at the time, which means there's no really reason to believe that none of the Founding Fathers could have anticipated something similar to modern repeating firearms. And if they didn't issue limits on how many rounds a gun can hold, there's not likely to be a law that justifies magazine restrictions. That's pretty much how Bruin reads. Of course, over the years, we've seen some, let's call them creative attempts, as presenting past laws as justification for new restrictions as attorneys try their best to find ways to preserve anti-gun legislation. In the wake of Bruin, that includes using some pretty racist laws to justify modern-day restrictions. As such, we can't rule out that they won't get creative yet again and try to find something that the state Supreme Court can hold on to in order to justify upholding this restriction. We don't know if it would survive the U.S. Supreme Court, but there's no guarantee SCOTUS would hear it. The trick here is going to be to see what happens next. Was the stay issued because it's likely the state would prevail? Or what is issued was simply to prevent an upset to the status quo before the case can be heard? It's amazing how our justice system works. A judge can rule a magazine ban is unconstitutional, and then almost immediately the state Supreme Court intervenes and issues an emergency order keeping the ban in effect. As always, I would really like to hear your thoughts on today's video in the comment section down below. And if you guys would like to help the channel out and help it to continue to grow, please just take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. I really would appreciate it. And I invite you to come back and watch my next video.